Hi, this is Mike from Soundiron, here to tell you a little bit about the Traveler organ. It's a multi-sampled instrument library that captures the heart of an early 20th century flat-top reed organ. It's nearly 4 gigabytes with close to 1,700 samples, and is built for the full retail version of Contact 5.5. With remarkable tone, well-aged character, and a powerful dynamic range, it's ideal for everything from the sinister to the playful. Let's take a look at the organ. The Sustain Solo preset activates just a single rank of the primary reeds, and each reed is located directly under its specific key. The volume knob controls dynamic intensity, and in the dynamic preset, it smoothly crossfades between the solo, piano, and duo forte layers. Our octave knob swells in a bass unison octave note first, and then a treble octave note when you fully extend it. You can hear that it quickly takes you from a humble chapel organ sound to something much more akin to a grand pipe organ or a calliope. And we lag it a bit so you can get these really smooth swells that just rise up. The release knob controls the natural key release samples. The offset knob cuts into the sample starting transient to allow sharper attacks and to skip past the naturally soft note attack, so you can make it a more precise cutting sound if you want to. Sustain Duo opens a second set of reeds in a lower unison octave and increases the overall intensity of the sound. The attack knob allows you to soften and roll back the note attack, so you can kind of let it swell into each note. The vibrato knob brings in smooth vibrato oscillations, from subtle to extreme. When you combine this with the octave knob, the effect is awesome. We think Vox Humana in this organ was meant to create an expressive and breathier tone, and there's a slight vibrato to it. The effects rack includes lots of different multi-effects. You'll find the mod effect with chorus, phaser, and flanger, a stereo imager, a drive module with several different distortion types, the amp and cab simulators, including a classic Leslie speaker effect that goes great with this organ. There's also EQ, resonant filter, and delay. The convolution reverb module has 70 different rooms, halls, and spaces, and creative effect impulses. And so you can simulate just about any type of environment and reflective style that you need. You can hear these effects in action in the custom preset folder. The effects let you create all kinds of organ sounds, from E-pianos and old-school synthesizers to growling blues organs and soaring cathedral pipes. The possibilities are wide open once you start playing around. The Diminuendo articulations are similar to the sustains, but they decay gradually as the bellows deflate, and with no continuous foot pumping to keep the sound going, it kind of sputters out of being. It's perfect if you want to allow a slower release fade out by increasing the release setting, and there's some really cool detail in the way that each note falls away. The staccatos are short key presses that have a distinctly more chaotic and raw sound, and it's very different from what you'll hear by simply just playing short notes with the sustains or diminuendos. The Arpeggiator system can be reached by clicking the Arp button. It allows dynamic arpeggiation with control over cycle direction, meter, and cycle mode type. You can trigger ARP cycles using the velocities you play, or use the step sequencer to set fixed velocities for each step in a sequence, with up to 32 steps. Adjust swing, add a little human randomization, and shorten or lengthen the note duration as well with the knobs below. And you can even save and load arpeggiator presets once you dial in the settings you like. Just look for the little disk and folder icons down below the table. This library is perfect for all kinds of musical genres, from period and old Western music, folk and ethnic songwriting, to hymns, carnival and circus music, blues, old-timey, Americana, zydeco, and it works as a fantastic replacement for accordions, harmoniums, pipe organs, concertinas, melodicas, and just about any other kind of reed or organ instrument that you're looking for. Built by the Clough Warren Company of Detroit, this particular human-powered model was sold to traveling preachers and small churches, carnivals, schools, and houses as portable alternatives to more expensive and bulky pianos and pipe organs that really weren't accessible to most ordinary people and small congregations. It had 61 keys and 13 stops, a few of which were no longer entirely functional, I think, and a few of which seem more or less meant to approximate traditional pipe organ stops, with varying levels of actual success. We worked with it for a while and basically narrowed it down to the best of them for this project. This instrument was passed along to us by our friend Jeff Churgwin, who was the brass consultant for the Symphony Series brass libraries. We recorded a number of stops and articulations up close in our dry studio with a wide 3-mic array using Neumann's and a Sound Devices solid-state recorder to get a really clean signal path. We captured sustains, decrescendos, and staccatos for the piano and forte and Vox Humana stops, along with bellows, creaks, key clicks, and plenty of custom sound design, organs, pads, and ambiences. It's really a full-service library that goes way beyond just a simple pump organ concept. Each of these primary stop settings engaged a different rank of reeds, and it completely changed the sonic character of the instrument. The reeds are sounded by a foot-pumped canvas bellows inside the body of the organ, so a smooth and steady pumping action is required to keep the reed supplied with a steady airflow. The result can seem a bit wheezy and creaky in a certain way, but that's really the charm and soul of this authentic mechanical organ. The UI comes equipped with dynamic controls, including the volume, attack, release, offset, vibrato, and octave stops, as well as sound bank loading and an adaptive arpeggiator panel that lets you do some really cool stuff. And then, of course, there's a full effects rack with a built-in convolution that includes 70 different room, hall, and ambient impulses. All the samples are standard 2448 stereo wave files ready for direct import into pretty much any audio or video software you use. You just need Contact if you want to use the actual presets with the user interface. But you can use the bare samples in any sampler environment that works for you. This has been Mike Peasley from Soundiron. Thanks for watching.